welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Taylor and welcome to my tower. So as you can tell by the title, today's video is going to be 20 money saving tips for Disney trips. So I have one that is specific to Disneyland and then the rest are pretty specific to Disney World. But regardless, I think that you will find this information helpful because a lot of this information was actually from you guys over on my Instagram. So if you want to be included in the next video where I ask you guys for some advice, make sure that you're following me on Instagram. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on into 20 money saving tips for Disney trips. So whenever anyone asks me how can they save money on their Disney trips, my number one answer is always to purchase a Disney gift card from Target on either their website or through the app. So in order to actually save money, you will need the Target credit card, which I feel like a lot of us probably have. So how this works is you go into the Target app and you can just type in Disney gift card. It's going to show you the one option to purchase a Disney gift card ranging from $25 to $500. So I did the math for you guys so that way you can see how much you would save with the Target credit card for all of the different amounts that you're able to purchase. So if you purchase a $25 gift card, your total will come to $23.75, $50, $47.50, $100, $95, $200, $190, or my favorite is a $500 gift card for $475. So obviously you're gonna save more the more that you spend. So I always get the $500 gift card and then I like to use this as my allowance for the week. So this doesn't always work. I usually always end up going over this because Disney is expensive. But either way, getting $25 off a Disney gift card is a great deal, so I would highly recommend to do this. And also one of my favorite things about this tip is that number one, obviously it helps you to budget for your trip if you are sticking to a specific budget. But number two, this can be combined with other discounts because this is just a form of payment. It's not actually a discount. So what I like to do is I always usually end up going with someone that has an annual pass. I don't really plan for this. It just kind of works in my favor. So what I do is I screenshot my gift card barcode, but the person with the annual pass would have to show their ID. So you have to give your phone or send them a picture of your barcode. So what I like to do is I will just say to my friends, like, hey, I want to buy this pin, you'll save 10%, so would you mind buying it for me? So they go up to the register, show their annual pass, and then pay by just like scanning their phone, and it's really that easy. And then something that I discovered while doing my research for this video is that you can actually purchase Disneyland tickets through Target as well. So the same way that you would search a Disney gift card, you can type in Disney tickets and they will show you a bunch of different options ranging from 2 to 3 day tickets. Some include park hoppers, some don't, some include Genie Plus, some don't, and some of these are tickets for ages 3 to 9, some are 10 plus. And I know that if you get the 3-day park hopper with Genie Plus, the total is $550, but if you use your Target Circle card, you will save 5%, which is about $27 and some change. So you're saving almost $30 for Disneyland tickets just by having the Target credit card. So having a Target credit card and being a Disney adult definitely go hand in hand. So tip number 2 is going to be to have an annual pass to Disney World. So this is obviously a huge investment to start with because if you don't live in Florida, the only option that you have is for the pass that is almost $1,500. It is like $1,449 plus tax, but there are a lot of benefits with the annual pass. So if you're not aware, I did just want to go over those quickly with you guys. So these benefits apply to most places on property. So you do get 10% off food, 20% off merch, and you can also save with booking hotels as well. So on my most recent trip, Michaela booked our room and I can't remember the exact like percentage off or like the dollar amount that we received off of our booking, but I know it was a good enough savings, and so I would highly recommend if you don't have an annual pass and you go to Disney often, I do think that it's worth it, especially for just like the merchandise savings alone if you're a big shopper like me. But if you do go with at least one person in your party, that's all you need to save on the booking for the hotel, and then just have that person pay for the bills when you go out to eat, and having that person pay for your merchandise and just either Venmoing them or doing what I do with the Disney gift card. I do think that you can still reap the benefits without having an annual pass yourself, but you do need to have someone in your party that does have it. And there's also a current promotion for Disney World annual pass holders, so you can save up to 35% off of select rooms for most nights at most hotels from now until October 3rd, 2024, which is a great promotion as well. This is something that they run pretty often. It's all around different times of the year, mostly at non-peak times, obviously, so they don't do this during Christmas time, they don't do this during spring break. So yeah, if you are looking to save 35%, you can definitely book with your annual pass. So tip number 3 is to use a military discount, and I know that this won't apply to everyone, but if you or your spouse is in the military, then obviously you can reap those benefits as as well. My best friend Hannah from my most recent trip, who you guys will have seen in those vlogs, she went on her honeymoon and stayed at the Shades of Green resort, which, by the way, you can only stay here if you are military personnel. But I did just want to tell you guys some of the benefits that she found while staying at Shades of Green. Proximity to Magic Kingdom. They have a nice pool. It is a golf course, but the only transportation is bus, but it is directly across from the Polynesian, so it is very, very, very close to Magic Kingdom, which is great. So another way that you can save money with the military discount is by purchasing discounted theme park tickets at the military base. So I personally don't have experience doing this, but Hannah did purchase our tickets for my most recent trip, and I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how much money we saved, but it was a pretty big chunk, so I'm very thankful to her for picking those up for us. So if you or your spouse or anyone in your party is in the military, I would highly recommend to take advantage of those discounts as well. So leading us to tip number 4 is that if you can't stay at Shades of Green, then I would recommend to stay at the All-Star resorts, because you still get the Disney theming, you get the buses, you get a food court, a pool, there's an arcade, you still get to stay within the Disney bubble, but these are your cheapest options for hotels if you want to stay in the Disney bubble, which I highly recommend because I never personally want to lose touch of the Disney magic by staying off property. Obviously, you can save even more money by staying off property, but that's a different situation. So your options are All-Star Music, movies, and sports. So I've stayed at all 3. I don't think I have a personal favorite, maybe sports, just because it is the closest in terms of the layout of the property. So when you take the bus to and from the parks, you're going to be kind of like the closest to the parks, if that makes sense. But no matter which resort you choose, you're still gonna get that super immersive theming. And at the end of the day, you're really only at your resort to kind of rest and maybe recharge for a day. So I think it's worth it to save the money and stay at the All-Star resorts. Also, another little bonus tip that we got over on Instagram is that if you want to stay somewhere that's a little bit more high-end, I do believe that this one is a deluxe resort, but booking at either the Swan or the Dolphin, which is very, very close to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. This is a Marriott-owned hotel, so you do still get all of the benefits of staying on property. You're just not going to have that super immersive theming inside of the hotel, but you will still get, I believe it's like the extra magic hours, the early entry, all that kind of fun stuff, Disney transportation. You'll still have all that if you stay here, but one of the ways that you can save money by staying here is if you are a Marriott member. I'm not really sure what that's called because I'm not personally, but you can earn points through Marriott and then eventually build up to kind of get free rooms and stuff like that. So if you are a rewards member with Marriott, maybe booking here would actually probably save you some more money, maybe even a free room. Tip number 5 is to get groceries delivered to your hotel for so much savings. So getting groceries delivered to your room will save you so much money in terms of buying food either for breakfast at your hotel, snacks either late at night or just, you know, when you come back from the parks. That will save you money on water if you can get water delivered to your room as well. So what we did for my most recent trip was we used Shipt, and Allie pays for that subscription, so it's $100 a year, but you do get $0 delivery on any order over $35. So what we did was on our very first day, we just came up with a list of food and drinks that we really wanted for the duration of our stay. And Michaela specifically wanted me to include the fact that we got Uncrustables. So those were great, honestly, for breakfast and for like a snack. I feel like they really kind of tied us over, and we just got like a big pack and shared that throughout the week. We also got water delivered. You can get all kinds of snacks, literally anything that you can think of, from Publix, from Target, from Walmart, from literally anywhere that you choose. And so how that will work is a Shipt delivery driver will bring your order to the hotel front desk. But what we did was after our first park day, we got back to our hotel and just picked up our order, carried it to our room, and it was very, very easy. We stocked up our fridge with so much water, so we were set for the week. And you know, we split the bill 4 ways, so it was really, really convenient for us, and we saved money in terms of buying breakfast. And you can also bring food into Disney, which I don't know if everyone knows that, but you can bring your own food into the parks as well. So if you wanted to save even more money, you could not buy food in the parks and just bring the food that you buy in your Shipt order, but we all want to buy the Disney food because it's fun to try everything new, and Disney has so much good food. But if you wanted to, the option is there for you to bring in your own food. Tip number 6 is to bring a filled insulated water bottle into the parks with you. So what I like to do is fill up my 40-ounce LO. It can be a Hydro Flask, it can be an Owala, whatever kind of brand you have. I just probably wouldn't do a Stanley just in case it tips over and spills in the locker, but regardless, anything that is insulated and big to bring into the parks with you, I think is a great option. You can either keep it on your person person, if you have a stroller, or if you have a backpack. So this is a great way to save money in the parks, because instead of purchasing either Dasani for around $4 or Smart Water for $6, you can just fill up your own water, have that for, you know, until you run out of that. But you can also get free water at quick service places as well as Starbucks. And I do believe that there are refillable water stations in every single park as well. So there are ways to get water for free in the parks. And I know that in the past I have purchased sometimes upwards of like 6 bottles of water a day. And I always get these Smart Waters. So sometimes I'm spending between like $30 and $40 on water alone for the day, which is just absolutely insane. So bring your own water and you will thank yourself for doing this. Tip number 7 is to bring a reliable portable charger into the parks with you. So how is this going to save you money? All of our phones are going to die at some point in the parks, especially if you are the one that is in charge of doing Genie and booking things through the app and all that stuff. So what a lot of people do is purchase fuel rods, which are $30, and they're a great option if you don't have a portable charger. But for us, we are planning ahead. So we are going to get this one for $15. I have it linked on my Amazon storefront down below, but this one specifically is great because it can charge 3 things at once, and it also has great battery life. So what I usually do is at some point during the day, I like to take a break and charge up my phone, my fan, and maybe even my watch if my watch is starting to die. And the reusable portable chargers that you can get in the park are called fuel rods, and the battery life is not really great on these, but how this works is kind of like a vending machine. So you purchase your fuel rod the first time and you can use it up until it dies, and then you can kind of put it back in the machine. It will dispense out a freshly charged one for you. But this option is $30, and you also just have to worry about just like continuously finding a fuel rod station to just kind of keep swapping it out. Whereas if you just bring the one solid power bank, it can charge a lot of things at once. It's going to save you $15, and it's something that you'll just have forever. So I personally prefer this method, and you will save literally half the price if you get this one specifically. Another Instagram tip that we got is to bring your own essentials into the park. So that includes an umbrella, a poncho, sweat towels, any kind of essential that can be purchased in any of the Disney gift shops. If you bring that in yourself, you will save a lot of money. So I know that a lot of people tend to get caught in the rain in Disney World, and their first instinct is to go and purchase a poncho, which I'm not sure exactly how much they are. They're probably $10 if I had to guess. Obviously, this is something that you can get at the dollar store, so I would highly recommend to just get your own ponchos ahead of time. And number one, you will have it on you and not have to worry about scrambling to go find it somewhere, but you're also going to save a lot of money by purchasing these essentials ahead of time. So tip number 8 is to book during non-peak times of the year when Disney is running promotions. So as I said before, if you have the annual pass, you can currently save 35% on bookings now until October 3rd, I believe it was. But even if you don't have annual pass, Disney runs promotions all the time where you can save 25% off. The only times of year that I've found Disney really doesn't run this promotion is during their peak times. So during Christmas, during Halloween, and during spring break, and honestly sometimes in the summer. But I do find that the kind of non-peak times of the year are the best to, one, not only avoid the crowds, but two, to kind of take advantage of some of these promotions that Disney has to offer. And that is a great way to save money on your resort if you don't have annual pass, military, or any other kind of discounts. Anyone can take advantage of these offers, so just keep an eye out for these on the Disney World website. Tip number 9 is to avoid purchasing the park hopper option on your tickets if you are able to do so. So what I like to do is I like to designate one park to each day of my trip. So this is just a nice way to kind of really immerse yourself in every single Disney park. And yes, Animal Kingdom is a full day park as well. If you don't believe me, you can check out my Animal Kingdom vlog where I explain why I believe that Animal Kingdom is a full day park. But it is, you do not have to purchase the park hopper option. You can have so much fun by not doing this option and also save some money on your theme park tickets as well. Tip number 10 is all about saving money in terms of booking our flights for our Disney trips. So I have quite a few that fall under this category, but I just wanted to kind of group them all together. So what I like to do is track flights sometimes 6 weeks out. I feel like is where you get right around the best kind of deals. Sometimes you can go even further in advance, maybe even a little bit closer. I wouldn't take the risk of booking anything too close to your Disney trip. I would want to have this kind of be the first step in planning your trip. So this is something that you want to do like months in advance if you can, or just right around the 6-week mark from your trip. But the way that you're going to want to do this is by browsing in private mode on your phone or in the airline's app that you're booking with, because if you just go in your typical Safari or on typical typical Google Chrome, they will see that you're continuously looking at these flights and they will continue to hike the prices. So make sure that you are browsing in private mode or in an airline specific app. And a huge part of this tip is to use an airline credit card. So I'm pretty sure every airline has a credit card. So as time goes on and you just accrue points, you can eventually get free flights, which is obviously the best deal of all. So the tip that I got on Instagram, this person has the American Airlines credit card and said that they get free flights pretty often. I don't personally have an airline credit card, so I can't really go into specifics with this deal. For me, I personally always fly Spirit out of one specific airport. It's a small kind of local airport and they pretty much only fly to Florida and they have great deals all the time. So I like to just look in the Spirit app on my phone just right around 6 to maybe 10 weeks before my trip. And I usually find that I can get flights under $100, but I'm also not flying very far to go to Disney World, so it's just really dependent on where you live. But definitely use an airline credit card and also just accrue points through the airline's app as well. Tip number 11 is kind of a silly one, but it does make a lot of sense, and that is to book with as many people in your party as you can fit into a room. So what I like to do is when I'm booking for a room that sleeps 4 people, I like to have 4 people in my party. That way we can split it evenly 4 ways, and Uber rides if you need them, you know, the shipped order, like literally everything can just be split 4 ways, which obviously will save you money. The only people that this really won't work for is families, because obviously you can't have your kids pitch in for the Disney trips. I'm also just kind of a social butterfly with my friends. I always want as many of us to go as possible, but if you're going as maybe a couple or even solo, obviously you're going to spend 2, 3, 4 times that amount that you would pay if you would just split the room with other people. So I don't recommend doing solo kind of trips to Disney just for that reason alone, but obviously you can still do solo park days. You guys can go do things on your own, but I would personally book with as many people as you can fit into a room. Tip number 12 is one that I got on Instagram, which I've honestly never even heard of this, but that is to book with the Disney Bounceback offer. So I did have to do some research with this one, and how this works is if you book your next Disney trip while you are on your current Disney trip or within 7 days of your most recent Disney trip, you can get your next stay for a discounted rate. You will receive an email when you check out about the Bounceback offer, as well as on the pamphlets inside your room. I think that's a great way to save money if you know for sure that you want to come back on a certain date or certain time period, whatever. You can definitely save by doing Disney's Bounceback offer. Tip number 13 is to skip out on the Genie Plus service and opt for the free Genie service. So I personally don't do this one because I like to avoid standing at all costs. I don't mind walking in the parks, but standing in the lines is what really fatigues me. So I don't mind paying for Genie Plus, and I'm also only ever paying for just myself because I do not have kids. So I just usually pay around, what is it, like $20 to $30, and that is worth it for me to kind of skip the lines all day long. But if you are a family of, you know, 4 or even more, this total can really add up. So I see why people choose not to do this. So what you can do instead is use Disney's free Genie service, where we'll kind of just let you pick what attractions and shows you want to do throughout the day, and we'll just kind of direct you on the good times to go there when the wait times are not so bad for those attractions. So that's definitely a great way to take advantage of Disney Genie without paying for the fast pass kind of version of Disney Genie Plus. Tip number 14 is to take advantage of early entry. If you're staying at any resort, or if you're staying at a deluxe resort, you can take advantage of extra magic hours. So how is this saving you money? Well, you're getting extra park time. So if you're not doing Genie Plus, this is a great way to kind of, you know, be the first one on that ride or the last one on that ride, to just kind of guarantee that you can get onto those bigger attractions. So if you're traveling in a large group or in a family and you guys decide to not do the Disney Genie Plus service, then attending the parks with the early entry or extra magic hours is a great way to kind of really get the most out of your theme park ticket and really kind of guarantee that you get to ride those bigger attractions without actually having to pay for it. I also just wanted to mention that the extra magic hours are only for deluxe guests, like I said, but also only for specific dates and for specific parks. So you do just want to go ahead and check on that ahead of time, because that may actually determine where you book, when you book. So definitely keep an eye out for that. You can get all of that information on Disney World's website. Tip number 15 is to plan a designated day at either your resort or at Disney Springs, both of which are free options. So I personally always love a nice pool break day in between my park days. So let's say you're going for a 6-day trip and you have, you know, a park, a rest day, park, flying home. I always find that that schedule is really, really great, and it gives you that break day right in the middle. You you can just really enjoy all the free amenities that are included at your hotel. Or if you have a little bit more energy, you can walk around Disney Springs, which is also totally free. Obviously, there is a ton of shopping and a ton of eating, which is not free, but simply walking around Disney Springs is free to do without a theme park ticket. Something else that you can do for free on Disney property is to resort hop. So if you're staying at the Contemporary, you can just take the monorail and go over to the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian. If you're staying at any of the Skyliner resorts, you can take the Skyliner and just kind of check out all the resorts on that loop. Or you can also take a Disney bus. The only problem with this is you have to take the bus to a theme park, and then from that theme park you can take a bus to another resort, because Disney doesn't really allow you to resort hop, so you kind of have to find ways around doing this. But it's definitely still totally doable, especially if you have a dining reservation at, you know, let's say the Polynesian. You can drive there and park there if you have dinner reservations at like Ohana, let's say. So you can definitely drive there, go to your dinner reservation, then check out the other resorts on the monorail loop, and then head back to your hotel. That really only matters if you're driving to the resorts though, because you will need some sort of dining reservation or a hotel reservation to actually park at a resort. But if you're simply staying on property, you can do the bus method. That's going to take a little bit more effort. But if you're staying anywhere on the Skyliner loop or on the monorail loop, then this option is totally free, and it's totally fun too, and you can get a bunch of different pictures at all the resorts, which I personally find so fun. You could try their specific restaurants and snacks, and all their gift shops are kind of unique as well. So there's a ton of free things to do on your rest day, so just make sure that you take advantage of those on your trip as well. Tip number 16 is to get the Disney dining plan. So I personally have never used the Disney dining plan. It's not really something that I think would work for me or my friends when we go, and I would just hate to feel like I have to eat somewhere even if I don't want to, just to kind of get my money's worth from the Disney dining plan. But I know that this tends to work for families specifically, so I did just want to tell you about the Disney dining plan in case you're interested. So everything that I'm about to mention is per person per day. So each person gets one quick service meal, one table service meal, one snack or non-alcoholic beverage, and one resort refillable mug. So this is, I think, like the more deluxe Disney dining plan. I know there's like different options. I think there's a quick service option, and then there is this one. I believe that there's only two. I just did a little bit of research to kind of mention this to you guys, but if you do this option that I've just mentioned, it comes to a total of about $95 a day, and that is before gratuity. But I think that it's really smart to kind of just do your own research with the Disney dining plan and maybe watch other vlogs of people who have tested it out and seen whether or not it was worth it for their party. That way you can kind of really make an informed decision whether or not you would want to do this for your trip as well. Tip number 17 is to use a free Disney travel agent. So there are so many Disney travel agents that you can use. I do have a couple of friends that are Disney travel agents, so I will have their links down below. But the way that they will help you to save money is because they know all of the ins and outs when it comes to booking Disney trips, and they will help you to get the best deals, especially if you're working under a specific budget. They will help you to kind of plan everything for your trip within that budget. So if you tell your travel agent that you're really interested in saving the most amount of money, they will do all the research for you and help you to save the most on your trip, and you don't have to worry about kind of stressing yourself out to figure everything out for your trip. They will just do it all for you. They are a pleasure to work with, and they are 100% free to you because Disney pays them. So you don't have to worry about spending any money with the Disney travel agents. Tip number 18 is to have a Disney credit card. So I do not personally have one, but Hannah does, and she receives 10% off at select stores, including the Disney store. What's great about having the Disney credit card is that you can use this for discounts on merchandise at the theme parks as well. And what's also nice about it is that it is a $0 annual fee. Other than that, I do not personally have the Disney credit card, but I know that there are definitely advantages to having it and saving on your trip, as well as just kind of accruing points in purchases throughout your day-to-day life. So I know that we talked about bringing essentials into the parks with you to kind of save money there, but another way that you can save money is by bringing your own accessories on your Disney trip with you. So my favorite way to do this is by purchasing ears from small shops. You can also purchase headbands, bows, any kind of accessories, you know, shoulder pals and new emos. Like, those are all things you can get online ahead of time. And one of the benefits of doing this as well is you are supporting small shops. So my favorite small shop to support is Gingerbread Couture. That is where my ears are from, and these are still currently on the website. They are on sale for $25. I will have my link down below if you want to check out Gingerbread Couture. Taylor, who owns that shop, also makes headbands and bows and scrunchies, and she has some Disney prints and some non-Disney prints, so it's all just really dependent on what you would want. But this is great because you are supporting someone else's dreams and their shop, but you're also saving money on the Disney equivalent of these products. So Disney ears are all starting at $35 now. So definitely do a little bit of research before your trip and pick up some items that you personally love from some small shops to save you money from purchasing more expensive items in parks. And tip number 20 is honestly probably my favorite one, but that is to budget for your trips ahead of time and plan your trips well in advance. So this tip I actually got from someone on Instagram, and I really love this one, and that is if you save $25 a week for a year, at the end of that year you will have $1,300, which would pretty much cover an entire Disney trip. I think that, you know, saving $25 a week is a pretty doable task. Obviously you can save whatever amount you want every week or bi-weekly, every paycheck, you know, however that is going to work for you. And at the end of the 1 year, you will have enough money to cover an entire trip, which is a great way to budget and plan for your Disney trips. So those are my 20 tips for saving money on your Disney trips. If you have any other tips that I did not mention, go ahead and leave them down below to help someone else out. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe for new videos every Friday. And I will see you real soon. Bye.